Welcome, ladies and gents. I thought this was an interesting topic. So, Guardians of the Galaxy released yesterday in the UK. I've done my review of it already. I'll leave that linked above for those that want to check that out. And, you know, sort of on the lead up to this, everyone, from what I can tell anyway, was saying, yeah, we're done. We're done with the Guardians. Now we're done with Marvel. Without James Gunn not doing it. You know? And I believe even Chris Pratt was influential in getting James Gunn back, I think. But now we have confirmation that Dave Bautista and Zoe Saldana are done with Marvel. That's something which they've already said. Dave Bautista especially. In fact, he was very outspoken when James Gunn was fired. Incredibly outspoken. In fact, I'm surprised he managed to not get fired. I'm super surprised. But Chris Pratt isn't. He's not done with Marvel. So, apparently playing Star-Lord would be strange without James Gunn, but I would do it, he says. I think this is a surprise. I think. Anyway, I was surprised. I read this. I was like, oh, okay, really interesting. Very interesting stuff. So let's take a look at this. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Again, it's just one of those headlines that I'm like, oh, okay. That's a surprise. It is genuinely a surprise. And obviously, you know, I know you guys in the States get to watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 today. So I'm sure, you know, you guys coming out of the theatres, on the lead up to going to the theatre, you'll probably watch, you know, you'd be interested, and maybe this video would sort of pique your intrigue. So, without going into spoilers, they do leave it open that Chris Pratt, Star-Lord, can return. Again, not going into spoilers. I mean, it's a Marvel movie, so that's not really a spoiler, is it? Let's be honest. But let's check this out. So, with the release of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes the end of James Gunn's tenure in the MCU. The filmmaker is exiting the MCU after directing 3 Guardians movies and is moving on to his new full-time job as the co-head of DC Studios, where he's building a new DC universe across film, television and video games. That includes a Superman movie he's writing and directing. I will say, something that I definitely missed in my review is that this movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, isn't a traditional Marvel movie from the perspective of, if you're taking your kids, I would actually maybe watch it first, genuinely, without your kids there, and then judge whether they can handle it. Because there's actually there's an F-bomb in this, which was not what I was expecting. It's also, like, for anyone that's watched the channel for any significant amount of time will know, I don't shy away from cursing. It's fine, perfectly fine and reasonable. As long as it doesn't make up the bulk of your vocabulary, I don't think it shows a distinct lack of intelligence of any perspective on any level. So I don't care about cursing, but it's really out of place in this movie. And there's a few curse words in this movie. And when it dropped, I was like, oh, huh? What? Okay. Odd. So something I didn't say in my review, which I'll say now, is before watching this, before taking your kids, I would consider watching it first, genuinely. That in conjunction with the animal cruelty aspect. You may want to watch it before you take your children, you know, parents. Anyway, so Gunn's Guardians cast members Zoe Saldana and Dave Bautista have already gone on record saying they're exiting Marvel, along with Gunn, following the release of Guardians Volume 3. Chris Pratt, who has headlined the Guardians franchise as Star-Lord, is a different story. Speaking to Total Film magazine, Pratt said he would continue to play the character as long as Marvel honours what Gunn started. I can't see them doing that anyway, but okay. So maybe he knows that and he's like, yeah, I can be done anyway. So this is what he said. It would be strange to continue Star-Lord's story without James. He's done such a masterful job in the first 3 films. We really found the voice of Peter Quill together, and without him, obviously, I would never have had this opportunity. He writes it, he directs it, he dreams up the music. It's his imagination on screen. So to continue to tell the story, it would really be important to honour what he's done in the first 3 films, and to honour what the fans have grown to love about the character, and not simply do it because people might show up to pay for it, you know? Oh, buddy, Chris Pratt, you just don't know Marvel then, do you? Let's be honest. I mean, they're going to do that, aren't they? Come on. Come on, man. They do anything for the money, Marvel. Yeah, come on, behave. Oh dear, cracked me up reading that. Anyway, so Chris Pratt continues and says, I don't want to be cynical in the approach. And if that's the case, I just wouldn't do it at all. So maybe down the road, if something makes sense, I would do it. But it would really have to check a lot of the right boxes. So Pratt already has experience playing Star-Lord for directors who aren't James Gunn, but only in a supporting role capacity. Joe and Anthony Russo directed Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War, while Taika Waititi helmed Thor, Love and Thunder. All three Marvel tentpoles featured Pratt's Star-Lord, but not as a headlining character. Only the Gunn-directed Guardians movies have put Star-Lord front and centre. And, he deserves to be front and centre. Chris Pratt's great. As for Pratt's Guardians co-stars, Saldana recently told The Hollywood Reporter point blank that Volume 3 is the last time she'll be in a Marvel movie as her character Gamora. She said, and I quote, I don't think this is the end for the Guardians, it is the end for me, for Gamora. Batista confirmed in an interview with GQ magazine earlier this year that Volume 3 would be his last outing as Drax, and says, I'm so grateful for Drax, I love him, but there's a relief that it's over, Batista said at the time. It wasn't all pleasant, it was hard playing that role. The makeup process was beating me down, and I just don't know if I want Drax to be my legacy. It's a silly performance, and I want to do more dramatic stuff. But this is the other thing, right? So in a previous interview, Pratt, did also say this, said, now if you're saying to me, Chris Pratt the actor, do I want to reprise my role as Peter Quill? And is there mileage left in the character? And do I have the bandwidth or headspace for that? I do. I'd be interested in playing the character again. I guess maybe he's reiterating it. I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, it's interesting. I think maybe with his words now anyway, he's sort of left it as like if they're not doing a cash grab, I'll come back. But inevitably, they'll be doing a cash grab. So he won't be back. Which, I guess some people would say, unfortunate. But there you have it, ladies and gents. I just thought this was a sort of an interesting dive into the MCU. The MCU's done now, realistically. This was the last movie for a lot of people. And I do feel as well, the thing is the MCU's now lost essentially all of its worthwhile castmates. The actors that individuals would show up for and genuinely had a liking for. Guardians of the Galaxy is Guardians of the Galaxy and a success, not just because of James Gunn and not just because of the characters, but because of the actors involved. Again, Star-Lord, Chris Pratt as an example of that, is a very good actor. He's likable. The MCU doesn't really have any likable characters now, any likable actors either. So I don't think people will show up nearly as much as, what Marvel believes they will now moving forwards. But let me know what you think of this down below. If you've seen the movie, let me know what you think. Would love to hear it. And would love these stupid pop-ups to piss off as well. Anyway, thanks so much, guys. Give the video a like and a share. Haven't missed the age. Take care.